Okay, one hot rod straight axle. Come out of a 52 Ford F1 pickup truck. Trim the mounting, tabs off where the leaf spring is mounted originally. Bored some holes in it and cleaned it up. That's it. Let me show you guys a little trick here that come in handy a lot with me. This conversion kit has got an adapter that goes on these spindles. Problem with mine is it's supposed to fit tight because the bearing fits there. This ain't supposed to spin. But it looks like what happened at one time, the bearing maybe spun a little bit on that shaft and it's a little smaller than what it should be. So I already fixed this one, and what I've done, take a center punch and punch some marks, just punch it, a bunch of spots, kind of equivalent of knurling a valve guide, I guess. But I'm gonna punch it and show you what it looks like before I drive it. Then this one I had to drive it on. It slipped on with my fingers. And after I done this with the punch, I had to drive it on. It's pretty hard to get on. So let me punch that, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like after I punch it before I put the adapter on. Okay, that's what it looks like. Just a bunch of punch marks all the way around. Now it's gonna fit tight. I'm gonna drive it on there. It's gonna be pretty hard to drive on there now with the hammer. But yeah, that's what you do to fix that. Okay, I'm in the process of sticking my straight axle together so I can finish setting it up or make the design decisions. And quite naturally run into a problem. These old wheels I bought, which I want to run the old steel wheel, don't fit because the center hole is a little too small. It fits here, but when it hits this part, it won't go on. But it's only about 30 thousandths too small, so I'm gonna take my Dremel tool and open this hole up. And since it's lug centered, it won't be a problem if I don't get it perfect. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Yeah, I got this old auto dimming welding hood. I took the battery out of it so it wouldn't darken, and it works real good for stuff like that where you get the metal shavings flying everywhere. And plus my cutting torches, it's got a little tint to it, so it works real good with the cutting torch too. Okay, got the wheels cut out, got them mounted on. It wasn't no problem. Little Dremel tool worked. Now, what my goal is, since my spring is going to mount behind the axle back here, wishbones is going to mount here somewhere, go back to the frame. Originally the drag link was behind the axle, right there, all the way across to this side. Well, I turn this around, I'm gonna put this in the front. So what I gotta do is put the drag link in front. It's called the suicide axle. That's what they all rat rodders do in this case. They put the drag link in the front. So I gotta cut this arm off the spindle and weld it back so it comes out the front. The problem is the geometry of a front end, in order for the wheels to turn right. In other words, when you turn the wheels, the inside wheel got to turn more than the outside wheel, so forth, so on, or it'd be hard to turn a sharp curve. You got to line up this spindle with that joint. This joint with that joint has got to line up with the rear end. So it's got, in this case, it's got to kind of come in a little bit to match the center, go to the center of the rear end. Line the center of the rear end up with that joint and this joint. And if you see, that's about the way it is. The problem is when I move this to the front, it's still got to line up with the rear end, so this has got to be a lot further in to be able to get that line straight to the middle of the rear end. I won't be able to get it perfect because the rotor's right there, and I'm not going to do no major modifications. I'm gonna cut that off and weld it on the front and have it come in as far as I can without it hitting the rotor. And we're gonna go with that. That's gonna be close enough. It probably won't be perfect, but I bet you it's gonna be close enough to drive good. Going straight won't be no problem at all. If I ever had to turn a real sharp curve, it's possible it might not be perfect, but it's gonna be real close. And this side, since this piece bolts in, I don't have to cut it. All I got to do is, well, I do got to cut it. I got to cut it right here and take this piece off. I don't need that piece there. And I'm going to have to bend this in a little bit so it'll be close to the spindle, close to this rotor as I can get it. And then this, I'm going to cut this and weld this on like up here where it stick out. Like that. So yeah, that's what we got. Alright, there's my spindle modifications. So we have the drag link from the passenger side to the driver's side. And this should go to the steering pitman arm, steering box pitman arm. Okay, one suicide straight axle front end. I just got it stuck together, but it works. So now when you turn one wheel, the other one, the inside wheel turns a little bit more like it's supposed to. Turn it the other way, the inside wheel turns a little bit more like it's supposed to. Man, this thing's gonna drive like a Cadillac and look good doing it. Got me some new tires for the back. And they are white wall. They got a little bit of old skinny ass white wall on it, but they cheap. It's gonna be good enough to start with. I'm gonna have to get me some of them pie crust white walls later on, but right now we're gonna go use them. And I'm gonna buy a couple. I'm gonna buy some smaller tires than that for the front. Yeah, Coker tire, boy, that'd be nice. These suckers are so expensive. It's a lot of work. This front suspension. Well, the front and the rear suspension is probably the most important thing in a custom built car, because you got to get that right if you want to ride and drive anywhere like a decent car. You got to get that right. So I just spent a lot of time on this right here so far. You know, I had to modify the arms on the spindles, all that good stuff, but I got her done. A lot of heating and bending and beating and banging and cutting and welding and all that good stuff. Cleaning, man, the biggest part of cleaning all that mess. You talk about a mess cleaning all them parts. But yeah, we got that much done, so now we can carry on, start on something else, like maybe building the frame and getting ready to mount this axle on it. Appreciate you